Grinning Bard Press presents Tales of the Bard. Devaultus was here. By J.A. Roggie, Chapter 3. Gotta crash 'em all. Devaultus strolled down the cracked sidewalk, city lights glinting off wet pavement like stars trapped on Earth. His sharp eyes flicked over shadowy doorways and the flickering glow of neon signs. A strange stillness hung in the air, a tension that set his instincts on edge. Something was off. He could feel it, that primal prickling sensation crawling up the back of his neck like cold breath. Eyes were on him. That wasn't unusual. He was used to being watched. It came with the territory. But this was different. This felt like a hunter staring at prey it hadn't quite decided to eat yet. He pulled the hood of his hoodie up, shadows falling over his face, and kept moving with the kind of casual confidence that made people cross the street instead of pick a fight. Behind him, a low rumble echoed through the night. Not the growl of the usual four-wheeled beasts that roamed this place. This one had two wheels, sleek, predatory. It purred rather than roared. He turned into a narrow alley, PF flyers silent on the concrete. The bike passed, then stopped just ahead, the engine idling. Sliding behind a dumpster, curiously he watched her. This was new. The machine alone was impressive, lean frame, customized chrome, an exhaust system that purred like a jungle cat. But it wasn't the machine that caught his attention. It was the rider. She sat astride the beast like it belonged to her soul. Black leather hugged her curves like it was in love with her. Boots braced on the asphalt with the kind of tension that promised movement. Her shirt clung to her body, tight and unapologetic, and the leather vest she wore over it was only making her look more dangerous. Her dark brown hair framed her face like shadow and silk, and her eyes scanned the street with sharp, intelligent focus. She was beautiful, yes, but in the way a fire is beautiful. Alluring, mesmerizing, but can easily be fatal. She rolled forward a few feet, paused and looked around. Then she did something strange. Her head tilted slightly. She sniffed the air. Actually sniffed it, like a wolf. Her eyes closed for a second, and she breathed in deeply. And then, without pause, she turned her head and looked directly at him. Devaultus blinked. "Well, all right then," he murmured. She smiled, not the friendly kind, but the kind that warned you the trap had already been sprung. The beast under her quieted as she silenced it. She swung off it like she was walking onto a stage, each step purposeful, hips swaying with a practiced rhythm that drew the eye and kept it. A siren in leather. "Hello," she said, voice smooth and low, like bourbon poured over ice cubes. Devaultus leaned against the alley wall, arms folded. "Hello," he replied, matching her tone, cool, unreadable, and dangerous in its own right. She was close now, her eyes studying him like he was a puzzle worth solving. There was something else in the air now, something Devaultus couldn't name. It wasn't fear or lust, it was something older, more primal, a pull he didn't understand. "I couldn't help but notice your handiwork back in the alley," she said, her gaze dragging up and down his frame like a slow caress. There was flirtation in her voice, but more than that. She was weighing him, measuring what kind of predator he was. He didn't move. "Were they friends of yours?" She laughed softly, and it was a sound that nearly melted him. "No, far from it," she said, stepping a little closer. "They were stirring up trouble on our turf. Guess they didn't know what neighborhood they wandered into." Devaultus raised an eyebrow. "Our turf, huh? Do enlighten me. Who exactly do you serve?" She giggled, a playful sound that tried to mask the sharpness underneath. "Serve? That's such a rigid word." She stepped a little closer, like a spider pretending it wasn't just adjusting the web. "Let's say I ride with a crew that keeps things orderly, an MC. We keep the streets from getting too messy." Devaultus arched an eyebrow, careful not to let the question in his mind bleed too obviously into his expression. MC, a title that meant something here. But he didn't like playing the fool, not unless he was the one writing the script. MC? He asked, with all the faux casualness of a man flipping a coin he'd already palmed. She tilted her head, that knowing smile still tugging at her lips. Motorcycle club, she clarified, a tiny crease forming between her brows as she studied him more closely. You're not from around here, are you? He gave her a tight smile that didn't reach his eyes. You could say I passed through many places. She didn't press, but the gleam in her eyes sharpened. Her crew probably had tabs on everyone within 20 blocks. He was a foreign variable, and that made him either dangerous, useful, or both. The tale continues. Next week on Tales of the Bard. If you'd like to read the whole book ahead of time, join the mailing list below or purchase the book on Amazon or wherever ebooks or physical books are sold.